everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're exploring the absolutely profound impact that tiny, daily habits can have on our spiritual and psychological well-being. We're going to look really closely at how structuring your day with a surprisingly simple anchor, specifically a daily reading, can fundamentally transform how you experience life. So, let's dive right in. So, start off by asking yourself, why is it just so hard to change? I mean, we've all been there, right? You set a big goal, you drum up all this willpower, you commit to this massive new self-help regimen, and then, a few weeks later, you're literally right back where you started. It's incredibly frustrating, and honestly, it kind of makes you wonder if you're the only one who just can't seem to get it together. Well, you're definitely not alone. Henry David Thoreau captured the universal baseline of this frustration perfectly when he wrote, "The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation." That just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It perfectly describes that persistent, unnameable ache we all carry around, that feeling of being stuck on a repeating loop no matter how much we try to force a change in ourselves. Now, I know it's a heavy thought, but recognizing it is actually the very first step to freedom. Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. 1. The perennial struggle. 2. Your unconscious 800-pound gorilla. 3. Ridiculously small changes. 4. Anchoring with daily readings. And 5. Routine as ultimate freedom.
All right, part 1, the perennial struggle, or why we always feel stuck.
The perennial struggle is basically this deep, lifelong tension between who we currently are and who we desperately want to be. It shows up all the time as these repeating patterns of dissatisfaction, self-doubt, and self-sabotage. Maybe your career struggle is actually masking a deeper battle with self-worth. Or maybe your relationship issues really stem from this constant tension between craving intimacy and completely fearing it. The truth is, the struggle never completely disappears. It only changes form. So the absolute crucial point to take away here is that this struggle, it's not a flaw to be cured. It's an inescapable part of the human experience. We aren't broken. We just have to learn how to work with this tension rather than being totally consumed by it.
Moving on to section 2, your unconscious 800-pound gorilla. Let's look at the psychology of resistance.
So every single day we face this fundamental mismatch in our brains. On one side, you have your conscious mind. That's your willpower. It's highly logical, sure, but its battery drains incredibly fast. On the other side is your unconscious mind, and we like to call this the gorilla. It is blazing fast, it's automatic, and it heavily resists change, because change burns up precious energy. You see, your unconscious mind just wants to keep you safe based on your past experiences, even if those habits are actually destructive. Just imagine riding an 800-pound gorilla. If you want to go left, but the gorilla sees a banana to the right, well, the gorilla wins. Every single time. Because of this, you can make all the conscious commitments you want, but absolutely nothing changes until that 800-pound gorilla says so. Fighting your unconscious mind head-on is completely futile. If you try to force massive life changes through sheer willpower alone, you're just going to exhaust yourself and fail. Period. Instead of fighting the gorilla, we actually have to outsmart it. Which brings us to section 3, ridiculously small changes. This is how we start training the gorilla. Okay, to build a new neural pathway in your brain, you need to utilize the foundational habit loop. It's pretty simple, actually. Here are the 3 steps. First, you need a cue, a trigger or a specific situation, like waking up, making your morning coffee, or sitting down at your desk. Second is the response. This is the actual behavior itself that you want to cultivate. And third is the reward, the positive payoff your brain receives. Your unconscious mind absolutely loves this loop because it becomes automatic and doesn't require any exhausting logical thought. But here is the real secret to actually establishing that loop: ridiculously small changes. I mean, we are talking about actions that require absolute minimal effort and take 30 seconds or less to complete. Why? Well, the crucial point is that a 30-second habit flies completely under the gorilla's radar. It bypasses your brain's natural built-in resistance to change. You aren't threatening the gorilla with some massive 2-hour workout or super strict new diet. You're just gently, quietly nudging it in a new direction. And that leads perfectly into section 4, anchoring with daily readings, the ultimate micro-habit. Over time, this builds into an incredibly powerful practice that is historically known as Lectio Divina, or divine reading. You literally take a classic wisdom text, something like the collection Leaves of Life, and you spend just a few minutes a day with it. 1 minute to prepare and center yourself, 3 minutes to read slowly and attentively, 3 minutes to reflect on the meaning, and 1 minute to pray or meditate. That's it. That barely 8-minute investment is exactly why daily readings like Leaves of Life are so profoundly important. They allow you to establish and keep a consistent, spiritual, and psychologically grounded habit without triggering your mind's resistance. Reading suddenly becomes way more than just gathering information. It becomes a sacred encounter that opens your mind to genuine insight and real change. And just look at the caliber of wisdom you can invite into your morning with this habit. Take this excerpt featured in Leaves of Life. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. Today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness. Wow. Immersing yourself in high thoughts like this immediately disrupts your automatic, mindless living. Every single thought of awe or gratitude replaces a thought of worry or fear. It pulls you right out of your default anxieties and sets a profound, really intentional tone for the rest of your morning. And honestly, what I love most about this is the concept of the daily reprieve. A daily reading isn't some lifelong, overwhelming burden that your inner gorilla is just going to reject right out of the gate. You don't have to fix the rest of your life today. You literally only have to win today. By taking those few minutes to anchor yourself in wisdom, you give yourself full permission to let go of tomorrow's anxieties and yesterday's regrets and just focus entirely on living the next 24 hours well.
Finally, Section 5, Routine as Ultimate Freedom, and how this builds the good life.
This ridiculously small reading habit acts as a keystone for your entire existence. A spiritually grounded routine effectively disrupts automatic living. It builds profound self-awareness, much like what's known as a Step 10 daily inventory, allowing you to honestly reflect on your actions. It fosters deep inner peace, akin to a Step 11 meditation practice. This right here is exactly why a daily reading is absolutely vital to establishing and keeping a consistent, psychologically grounded habit. Starting your day with this kind of intention naturally spills over into better choices and far better emotional regulation throughout the day. You see, you aren't trapped by a rigid schedule. You are actually freed by a consistent rhythm. So, we have covered a lot of really crucial ground today in this explainer. We've talked about the universal struggle we all share, how to finally outsmart that 800-pound gorilla in your mind, the hidden power of ridiculously small changes, and of course, the incredible grounding effect of daily wisdom readings. I want to leave you with this final provocative question. What will you read tomorrow morning? I highly encourage you to find something that challenges you, take those few minutes to bypass your resistance, and start anchoring your good life. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.